I say don't sleep. I say don't sleep on them Chargers, man. Why is it good for Dak, but it's not good for Justin Fields? Dak is a winner.
Caps. That's caps.
Oh my God, bro. No, bro.
I'm a Cowboy fan. I got Cowboy hats in the back. I got Cowboy t-shirts in the back. That's cap. And we not taking that.
We're back, Huddle Buddies. How y'all like that new name? Dak is a winner, season-wise, in his season.
Season-wise.
Yeah,
Season.
yeah.
And OBJ is back. Watch. Going deep. Jamar Chase. He's got it. Chase to the end zone. That's a Bengal touchdown.
AFC. Okay, who won the AFC East? The Jets. The boys got 6 offensive tackles. I really like that they got Tyron Smith, but not only did they get Tyron Smith, they backed it up with Olu Fashanu from Penn State. That's a very strong move. And then they got Malachi Corley. Everybody wanted him, and the New York Jets got him. I think that's going to be a perfect fit for their offense. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to have Garrett Wilson do the traditional wide receiver things, and then you're going to have Malachi Corley in the slot doing damage on defenses. So I really think they're going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers a lot better, and they've got him a couple more weapons. So I think they were trying to get to last year.
Okay. Understood there. Also, they signed Mike Williams. Now, when he's not injured, he's a great receiver. When he's injured, Andre, who is your AFC East winners?
For the AFC East, my winners for the offseason is a little bit of a surprise to a lot of people. It will be the Patriots. So we all know what they desperately needed, and that was a quarterback and some wide receivers. They needed some weapons for that quarterback that they were planning to draft in this year's draft. So they did well drafting quality young talent that have a ton of upside. They drafted Drake May, which is a very good product. Jalen Polk and Caden Wallace in their first 3 picks to get instant support in the core position groups. They also re-signed key pieces like Kyle Duggar, Kendrick Bourne, and Josh Uche, who's the edge from last year. So I think that they solidified their core, made sure that they can put some great support as far as veterans around their young players, and then they're just building from there on. The Patriots are trying to make sure that they can stand up in an already tough division. There was a little bit of a fall off from the Bills. The Dolphins didn't do much in the offseason as well, but the Jets will be super competitive this year. So New England can stand up with the Jets if they produce and they play well within the system that the Patriots have. So
no, definitely understood there. The Patriots building their young core, so I can see where you're coming from. I also do agree with DT on this one. The Jets, and the name of the game was to protect Aaron Rodgers. They definitely did that, addressed that this offseason. They also got Garrett Wilson, young man. They got Mike Williams, and they got Malachi Corley, along with Breece Hall. I think top three offense incoming. They already had a top 3 defense last year. They're looking scary. Jets fans, you got you. Well, on paper, you got you a winner. We all know how the Jets are.
They had a winner on paper for about 3 plays last year.
Got to stay healthy.
Exactly. Name of the game. AFC. We're gonna go AFC South. AFC South. DT. Who is your AFC South winners?
You already know who I'm going with for this one. I wish I'd have had an off season like that. The Houston Texans. What didn't they do? They drafted well. They signed everybody they got their hands on. They got Daniil Hunter. They got Aziz Al-Shir. They traded for Joe Mixon. They traded for Stephon Diggs. They're one of the only teams in the league that improved their offense and their defense. So the last time we saw the Houston Texans, they're going to be drastically different than the Texans we see week 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I think there's going to be maybe some some growing pains with the relationship between C.J. Stroud and Stephon Diggs going into it. But I think by middle of the season they're going to be humming, and I just wait and see where I put them in my power rankings and in my playoff seeding. Just wait and see. Texans for me.
Of course, the Texans. Andre, AFC South. Who's your winners?
I'm going with the same team, the Texans, man. Texans made some spectacular offseason splashes. They did pretty decent in the draft. I like their first pick. It was a sneaky good pick with Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. He's going to pair well with Jeff Okudah on the other side. They acquired the Bay Area legend Joe Mixon. You already know Stephon Diggs, Danico Autry, Aziz Al-Shahir. So they made some real offseason splashes, and I think that they're gonna compete with the top 3 teams in the entire AFC conference. They're in a good position. They just need to put it all together and leave it all out on the field.
No, understood. And of course, that was the typical selection. I kind of want y'all to realize also a sneaky good pick in the Indianapolis Colts. They had a pretty solid offseason as well. They re-signed their core when it comes to Moore and Pittman Jr. You know, they have their young quarterback coming back from injury in Richardson. They also went ahead and added Adonai Mitchell, which this is Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell. So they have a scary offense along with Jonathan Taylor. Very, very scary offense for that AFC South. Also got to include that they have a scary D-line. They got Kwity Paye.
As good as the Texans defense, though.
Overall, probably not, but as far as D-line wise, they're definitely competing. Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, Latu Latte, and Samson Ebukam. That's pretty scary.
I think that Anthony Richardson is a talent that we haven't seen before. I think that Anthony Richardson is a talent that compares to Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. And so Cam Newton was able to do a lot with little in terms of what he had his MVP season in Carolina. So I think Anthony Richardson can do, similar things with, when you look at Texans and Colts, they're not exactly equally talented. Yeah. So I think Anthony Richardson can, elevate them, maybe not all the way to Texans level, but to where they're competitive at least.
No, I understood there. I definitely agree with that, and that's why they're low-key my sneaky pick here. We're going to go ahead and move on to the AFC North. Who do you have as your winners of the division, the winners of the offseason moves and draft, DT, for the AFC North?
Let me take the Steelers. I love the Steelers and what they've done. They got themselves, I think, 2 starting quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And then they also were able to make their opponents weaker by stealing away Patrick Queen. Then in addition to that, they also strengthened their offensive line with guys that I like. They got Zach Frazier, and they got Troy Fontanu, who I was pretty high on from Washington. Not really familiar with the McCormick guard that they got, but from what I've seen of him, the tape and stuff, I think he's a really strong run player. And they also gave motivation to Najee Harris as well. They didn't renew or didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so now he's playing for a contract, and that's always good when players are playing for contracts.
No, I can see that. I don't agree with the 2 starting quarterbacks, but to each his own. Andre, AFC North, who's your pick?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with DT right here. The Steelers are the clear-cut winners for the AFC North. As far as all-season moves and how they drafted this year, they retooled the offensive line by drafting an offensive tackle and a center in the first 2 rounds. They signed Patrick Queen, acquired Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, a few more. So they knew what they needed to target to get better in an already competitive division. So I say this was some very good strategic moves to put them in position to compete and actually win the title for their division.
Okay. Wow, we're just going to disregard the Ravens having one of the best running backs over the past decade signed. I know he's older, but having my boy Derrick Henry being signed, also getting DT's best corner in the draft, Nate Wiggins. We're gonna just sleep on the Ravens. That's what we're doing here, guys.
I think that the Ravens doubled down on the run game in a way where, like, they did get better in the passing game, right? I think they picked up a couple of receivers that I liked. The Watkins from North Carolina, for example.
Yeah.
But I feel like by getting Derrick Henry, they're going to try to run the ball 50 times a game, and the NFL is a passing league. So I don't know. I don't understand how that's going to make them more competitive in the NFL. That makes them a better football team, but I don't think it helps them much in winning NFL games in the way the NFL games are won today.
Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. AFC, speaking of Jim Harbaugh, AFC West, guys. AFC West. DT, who's your winners for the AFC West?
The Chiefs. They made one move that mattered. One move that mattered. And it was Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs was the one thing that I said in the pre-draft process that couldn't happen. And they did it. And so I think that this Chiefs team going into this year has a chance to be better than the first few Chiefs teams that won the Super Bowl. And I think that because this Chiefs defense is a lot better, even with the loss of L'Jarius Sneed, than those other defenses that they had in the first 3 Super Bowl championships. So it's the Chiefs for me.
That's crazy. I see where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I see where you're coming from. It's not as wild, but one man can only do so much, and we all know the reign of Patrick Mahomes. Hopefully, I hope it don't come to the end because that's my goal. But if it does, it is what it is. Andre, AFC West, who's your winners?
So I'm not like DT on this one. I'm not like that. One man can change the world. No,
big shout.
Not none of that. So Chiefs are the AFC winners. I was teetering on the fence with the Chiefs and the Raiders for this one because the Raiders did make an impact. I just feel like they didn't get the quarterback that they needed for their future. They got a temporary replacement quarterback, which we'll see how that pans out this year. But the Chiefs, they signed Hollywood Brown. That's someone you guys are forgetting about. That speed. They drafted Xavier Worthy on the other side. That speed, Mr. 421, as DT would say. They drafted new security at offensive tackle with Kingsley Somataya from BYU. They did draft a corner and a safety that will be developed over time as well. So that's filling in for L'Jarius Sneed, who was a big loss for them this offseason. They also lost Willie Gay Jr. at the linebacker position. So you guys got to be mindful about that. That may have a significant impact for them in the first couple of games, probably up until the end of the year. But you know how the Chiefs are. They win. They're all about winning. So I say they're the clear AFC West off-season winners for this year.
I say don't sleep. And them Chargers, man. Jim Harbaugh went ahead. I know the Chargers were gutted due to the salary cap in the beginning of the offseason, but they bounced back. You know, it's just a minor setback for a major comeback. Look, the Chargers went ahead. They lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. They lost Everett. They lost Eckler. Added on J.K. Dobbins, who still has all that potential he had. Now we're going to see how it is coming off another injury. However, they got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They went ahead and they lost their receivers as stated, but they went ahead and obtained probably the best slot receiver in the draft, Lad McConkey. They went ahead and also got Brandon Rice, the Hall of Famer's son. I know he could play a pretty good X. He's not the greatest when it comes to route running, or he doesn't really excel at everything or anything specifically, but he can play the X. And they pretty much got a cornerstone left tackle for their cornerstone quarterback in Justin Herbert. So I feel like they're starting a young, good core to go ahead and build upon and become a real contender 2-3 years down the line. They may even be a contender this year, but 2-3 years down the line,